Today on the show, Michelle Dockery runs into trouble transporting mob witness Topher Grace in Wahlberg's on a Plane. Then we're going back to the 80s where all Henry Bowers needed to change his ways was help from his teacher in Bad Will Hunting. Plus, Steven Soderbergh directs David Koepp's script, The Return of the Stir of Echoes, and what sounds like a Fast and the Furious spin-off, but isn't. It's Marked Men, Rule and Shaw, coming up right now.
We can pass. We can pass. This is just a weekend pass.
No need to tell you what to do. Just hit your mark. Whoa! Stop! No, cut. Michelle. No, I said hit your mark, not hit Mark.
Mel Gibson is back in the director's chair in Flight Risk. What's this? A movie where madman Mark Wahlberg is set to kill Topher Grace, who's under the watch of Lady Mary? I hate flying, but I'll get a one-way ticket for this. Here's a movie that I've been seeing get beaten up quite a bit. Even when I first got a trailer for it, the audience I was with laughed out loud at the Mark Wahlberg bald head reveal. But I'll say this, the movie's not that bad. It's not that great either, but for all the negative reviews it's getting, there's plenty of good things about it. It's just a bit uneven. Given his past filmography as a director, I never would have guessed this small little thriller would be something he'd do, but given that he is the director, he does get a lot of cool shots in the plane, and he knows how to keep it entertaining in what's practically a bottle film, which is good because I was worried at first. I'm not sure, but this opens with what I think is a really bad AI shot of a parking lot, followed by a cartoonish looking moose staring at Topher Grace through the window, like I'm now watching a children's show. Luckily, the effects afterwards were really good by comparison. The most consistent performance in it is Michelle Dockery, who is very good, especially with her back and forths with Leah Remini's voice on the phone. They don't show much of this in the trailer, but Topher Grace is in full Eric Foreman mode here, with a one-liner every other sentence. A few times I laughed, and other times it would get tiresome and kind of break the tension, and he says some really old jokes, like getting on the small plane and sarcastically saying, stewardess, are there any snacks on board? Mark Wahlberg is having a great time here, and the more over-the-top and bloodthirsty he gets, the better, but that shaved head is distracting. It just looks like an actor shaved his head, not that he really is bald. Come on, man, you gotta look more like this, or at least shave it all the way down. It's a movie that's lucky it's as entertaining as it is, because it is convoluted as hell, with characters giving themselves away far too soon, and it seems like the world's dumbest mobsters put this assassination plot in play. It's the kind of flick where characters have to do something stupid or leave a useful item laying around only so a movie can happen. Seriously, this whole plot would have ended quick if one person just asked for Wahlberg's ID before they got on the plane. There's a part where far into the villain reveal, the hero is like, oh right, I have my phone on me. I can just call for help. There's one part you can tell it's Gibson, because Gibson loves himself some gore, and that's a scene with the most graphic hand slide through a handcuff that involves skinning part of his hand. There's awkward lines, and the last scene is ridiculous, but when the suspense works, it does work. When there's emotional beats with the characters, I did care, and I did want to see where it was going. But it falls apart the more you think about it. I think this is an excellent choice for an entertaining Friday night flick to watch at home. But theatrically, I don't know, it's more of a C+ theatrically, but a B- for at home. But even then, if you find yourself a cheap seat theater to watch it, it could be serviceable for that too. Coming up next, the latest from Angel Studios. This time they're doing an inspirational teacher movie. Here's a clip.
I believe Nathan's... There's a good kid there.
It's 1986, and Nate Williams is a troubled student with a tragic past who's living out of his car until his teacher, Stan Dean, played by Jared Harris, takes him in to help the boy stay on the right path and keep him out of prison. You've seen a lot of movies like this before. It's a little stand and deliver, it's a little the holdovers, or hell, the movie pretty much redoes the "it's not your fault" scene from Good Will Hunting, and the movie doesn't really do anything better than any of those. It's a standard teacher-student movie. It's the kind of film where the kid's into photography, so you know the movie will end with real pictures of the people it's based on. Though if I had walked into this cold without seeing trailers, I might think it was gonna turn into a thriller, whether it's on the part of the teacher who is lonely because his mom just died, or with Nate, where it almost turns into a stalker thriller with his ex. Seriously, there's scenes where he looks just like Wahlberg in Fear. Now there is a point to that, because it does parallel his abusive father, who he's trying hard not to become, but the flashbacks are padded out a bit too much, and for as tragic as it is, it's shot very cheesy, with stock lines like, "If I can't have her, no one can." There's also bad green screening sometimes, but what does make a lot of it work is the performances. Jared Harris and Nicholas Hamilton are very good in this. There's scenes with them that are funny, they do the drama well, and while Homestead is the recent Angel Studios movie that was a TV pilot, this is one where it's like, I could see this working as a show. Like if instead of Walter and Jesse making drugs, they just had a nice Christmas together in a student-teacher version of The Odd Couple. I think this is another that probably works best at home, for me at least. But for the audience it's aimed at, who likes going to the theater to see these, it's a B-. Some of the writing doesn't work, but it's worth checking out for the performances alone. Up next, we're getting a haunted house movie Steven Soderbergh style in Presence. Here's a clip.
Agoraphobia.
I don't think I know that word. What does that mean?
It's the fear of being forgotten or ignored, and I can feel it.
In Presence, a family led by Lucy Liu and Chris Sullivan move into a new house, and already there's some kind of force in the place, rattling the walls, or moving books, or knocking over shelves. It's not a found footage movie, but almost. With the iPhone look, it's sort of shot like one, but this one's pretty unique in that it all seems to be from the POV of the ghost. So the whole movie takes place in the house, like it'd be an extra story in here if the camera moved. It even has a similar shot at the end. But this is a very, very good movie, though is a bit different than what the trailers are suggesting, which makes it look like Insidious with a little paranormal activity. This is more of a story of this family all struggling together because the daughter is still dealing with the trauma of losing two of her friends in drug-related deaths, and it doesn't help that her dad is the only one who wants to help, while her mom clearly favors the brother. What I like here is that early on you begin wondering if the ghost actually means any harm, or if it's there to help in case any unwanted danger comes into the house. It's an original take on these kinds of films, though it does have some go-to plot points, like when a psychic shows up because the realtor happens to know one. But I do like that she's only a psychic as a hobby. She shows up at the house on her lunch break from work, and her husband is like, yeah, she's gonna have to miss a couple of days of work for this, so if you could pay her what she's missing from work, that'd be great. It's not a pointless scene, though. It actually contains some pretty important information in order for the movie to make sense. And where it does all lead is pretty damn creepy, complete with a chilling shot near the end. The actors are all fantastic together, it's got a nice build-up of the tension, and we really spend a lot of time with these people to get to know them and like them. It was an A-. It's the best of the batch I saw this weekend. And just wait for the next one. Marked Men, Rule and Shaw. Here's a clip.
What's up, good looking?
Hey, baby.
Oh, no, not the You're hurting my hangover, right?
Nice jacket.
I really feel like I need a version of Siskel and Ebert's Dog of the Week or Aroma the Educated Skunk. This is a Fathom event I went to called Marked Men, Rule and Shaw, which sounds like I was walking into a 2000s action film as a double with Ballistic X vs. Sever. But this is a romance from director Nick Cassavetes, but think less The Notebook and more that it's from the writer of the After movies. You can tell it's a book movie, not just from the way it looks, but that it has character names like Rule and Rome Archer, Cora Lewis, Aiden Cross, Gabe Davenport, Nash Donovan, or Shaw Landon. If you're gonna be this much of a soap opera, I demand an appearance from Patch and Kayla. In it, Rule is still struggling with the death of his twin brother, and he's already a bad boy. He has tattoos. He and his friends smoke and drink and wear leather jackets and do graffiti. He's known for his one-night stands, where women come to his tattoo parlor and say, "I'm not actually here for a tattoo. Word on the street is that you're good in bed. Now do me." But then his childhood friend Shaw confesses she's in love with him. Can she be the one to fix him? Oh, not if her rich mother can help it. She wants Shaw to be with the wealthy Gabe, who's about to inherit a fortune and works in businessy business. This movie sucks! It's like it's sort of a YA movie, only if someone just discovered vulgarity, so the F-bomb is every other word to a cartoonish extent, or scenes where Shaw jokingly chases her roommate around the room with cum in her hair. Sometimes it's a bad boy romance, sometimes it's an edgy cable movie I'd see in the 90s, but if you're thinking, oh well, maybe it'll have some steamy and crazy ass sex scenes. Nope, that part they keep a PG-13, with foreplay that involves her meowing like a cat. Best keep the clothes on during sex. What if someone walks in? This is every single romance like this packaged into one film. It's pointless. It throws in every cliche as possible to where almost nothing about it stands out. Except I've never seen a third act breakup where the guy loses his shit because his idiot friend fell off a building while spraying graffiti. Rule is such a brooding dick that I don't want anyone to end up with anyone in this. It's not like they have chemistry with each other. The only reason you're like, well, I guess she should end up with Rule is because they make the evil rich guy a domestic abuser. Though the one good scene in it was the part where the guy gets his ass handed to him in a parking garage. This was straight up a D. It's exactly the kind of movie that ends with the moody trailer girl covering time after time. I hope they do make a movie series out of this. I'd be impressed because nothing out of the ordinary happens here. Thanks for watching, everyone, and be sure to subscribe to our channel today and our movie reviews of 2025 playlist, and we'll see you next week.